Hi, I'm Cara Graver at the Cobb Studio, and this is knitting a collar. So when knitting a collar on something that's already finished, you just take your needle around and pick up stitches on the top edge. And if you were knitting a sweater and you probably had finished putting the shoulder seams together, you would do it the same way. But you can add this to an existing sweater, or you can do it on something that you're making from scratch. And this is a little bit tricky to find the things that you need. And trickier still is the first row, but after that it's a piece of cake. And you'll notice I'm using a circular needle, and most people think of a circular needle as a tool for knitting in the round. If you are going to knit back and forth, circular needle is great if you have a lot of stitches. If you were going to knit it in the round, you'd have to have as many stitches as fill this needle up, because I wouldn't be able to reach, I don't know if this makes any sense, but I wouldn't be able to reach here with this much needle left over. So I'm just going to knit back and forth because that's the way my needle fits best, and I don't want to close up my sweater. I want to get into it in the end. So I'm going to start out by knitting these stitches. And I have a kind of a knit purl pattern on the sweater already, so I'm going to make use of that, just keep my collar going in that way. So after you've picked up your stitches and you've knit the first row, because that's the trickiest one, then you'll go for the second row, and you want to, if you don't increase, your collar will stand straight up, and that might be what you want. But if you don't want it to stand straight up, if you want it to lie down flat on your shoulders, around your neck, then you would increase. And I'll just turn around here for the sake of demonstration. You would, of course, go all the way around. So if I'm going to increase, I'll knit one. And if I want to make it very wide, I could increase every other stitch and make it wide quickly. So I'm knitting, in order to increase, I'm knitting, and then I'm going into the back loop of that same stitch that I was knitting, and knitting again in that stitch. So that made 2 stitches out of 1. Then I'll knit one in between, then I'll make another stitch. In patterns, it's often referred to as make one. I'm Cara Graver at the Cobb Studio, and that was knitting a collar.